Seeing how businesses in other cultures operate can inspire you to think about how you could change your own brand and culture to make it better, different, or more profitable.
Welcome to the PR Maven Podcast, a podcast all about growing your network and building your brand through traditional and digital networking techniques. I'm Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven and CEO of Marshall Communications. Stay tuned for this week's episode, and thanks for listening.
Welcome, PR Maven Nation, to this week's episode, one of our mini episodes, a quick and informative look at how traveling can teach you to be a better business leader. This podcast is presented by Marshall Communications, creator of the 65-step Marshall Plan process. For more information, visit marshallpr.com, and on the website under PR Maven, you will also find information about my two books, PR Works and Grow Your Audience, Grow Your Brand. This week, I will be sharing my Forbes Agency Council article, How Traveling Can Teach You to Be a Better Business Leader. So let's dive right in. I grew up in a small rural town in Connecticut and attended Colby College in the small Maine city of Waterville. Traveling to France kicked off my junior year abroad, and it opened up my eyes to the world outside of New England. I visited all the famous spots in Paris with a professor from the Sorbonne University. It was on those tours of La Ville Lumière that I fell in love with French art, literature, and other cultural staples. France also opened a door to the rest of Europe. While in Paris, I bought a Eurail Pass, so I had the chance to travel to the area in Germany, just outside of Stuttgart, where my father's mother was born. I met a lot of my German aunts, uncles, and cousins. The table was filled with schnitzel and the beer flowed. My experiences in Europe taught me that, as much as people can be proud of different cultures and customs, people are alike in so many ways. We are more alike than we are different, no matter where we're from. People just want to be acknowledged and respected, regardless of their culture. I also learned more about myself. Walking through the streets of Paris shined a light on my likes and dislikes, what motivates me and what doesn't. Decades later, I've come to realize that it may be impossible to succeed in business without knowing yourself first. If you understand yourself, you can lead from the heart and be your authentically best self all the time. And you can be a better leader in the business world. Traveling can allow you to meet people from different backgrounds with different mindsets. When doing business with customers and clients from outside of your immediate region, you can learn how to think with a more open mind and target people who may have different preferences, opinions, and biases than your own. In fact, as reported by the Harvard Business Review, research studies have shown that people are often at their most creative and cognitively flexible when spending time abroad. This makes it easier to develop new ideas and strategies, all of which you can bring back home. As Adam Galinsky, a professor at Columbia Business School, put it, foreign experiences increase both cognitive flexibility and depth, and integrativeness of thought, the ability to make deep connections between disparate forms. Of course, traveling also boosts happiness and satisfaction, which can positively impact one's functioning in a business setting. And don't forget about productivity, which increases when we have an opportunity to take time away from work. A mental refresh can make us better business owners and employees. When I walked the streets of Paris at the age of 20, I dreamed of doing business internationally, but I had no idea that it would actually happen, and so successfully at that. My agency does business in global tourism promotion and handles the international public relations for a state tourism office and a global marketing organization for the New England states. There are many layers to the travel industry, and we've become adept at working with professionals at every level. It seems like fun to work and travel, but without understanding the nuances and the differences between receptive operators, Chamber of Commerce executives, tour operators, travel agencies, journalists, and the new category of influencers, you will likely flounder. My agency's success would likely not have been possible if I'd never stepped a foot abroad and stepped out of my comfort zone. My interest in traveling ultimately molded the DNA of my agency. Therein lies a lesson for all business owners. Never forget that your business is an extension of you. Of course, during COVID-19, travel internationally came to an abrupt halt, but thankfully the borders to countries and states worldwide are opening up again. I know it's hard to fit travel into a busy schedule, but it's also a good opportunity to delegate some of your day-to-day responsibilities and allow your team to spread their wings and fly while you're exploring the world. I always carry a tablet or laptop so I can check my emails on a daily basis, but being away from the office for a week or two is a great way to see whether your company can carry on without you. I've always used foreign travel as a way to meet with people in my industry in other countries. On a trip to New Zealand, for example, I met with tourism officials from several regions to share experiences and lessons from my own experience in promoting tourism in Maine and New England. Seeing how businesses in other cultures operate can inspire you to think about how you could change your own brand and culture to make it better, different, or more profitable. Just getting out of your normal day-to-day routine can open you up to new possibilities and inspire you to serve your current clients better. With regard to public relations and advertising, for example, you may see ad campaigns in magazines, on billboards, or online and think, how could we do that in the U.S.? And thank goodness that the pandemic is largely behind us. We now can appreciate the freedom to travel more than ever before. For more insight, get access to my latest book, Grow Your Audience, Grow Your Brand, by visiting prmaven.com/giveaway and download a free copy today. And here's my friend Mike Duguay to share how PR Works and Grow Your Audience, Grow Your Brand have helped him.
After reading PR Works, I really started to think about how marketing actually works. And I know that sounds a little bit ridiculous, but what I realized is that each platform nowadays that we use out there in digital media and social media has its own nuance and also quirks to it. And understanding how they're used is exceedingly important. Because when you have a hammer in your hand, everything looks like a nail. And you can't approach it that way in marketing. And that's where I think Nancy's brilliance really shined in PR Works. I think Grow Your Audience, Grow Your Brand is really sort of the manifesto of understanding that there's many different levels to marketing. It's on your personal side of your brand, how actually you express yourself through business, but also what people hear you saying and what they see out there in the public eye as well. So I think what's really important there, that's really the blueprint of how you go about using these new social media platforms, but also to express who you are as a human being. Because people want to see you authentically and genuinely working with not only what you do, but also with the customers. And Nancy, on a personal level, I think that's who she is. She embodies that approach.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the PR Maven podcast. I invite you to share a review of the podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also join the PR Maven Nation on Facebook. It's free to join, and it's a great community of like-minded individuals who are all looking to learn and grow from one another. If you use an Alexa device, use your Alexa app to search the Skills and Games section to find and enable the PR Maven Podcast Flash Briefing. This will give you access to exclusive content and more PR and marketing advice. Thanks again for listening, and have a great rest of your week, PR Maven Nation.